Okay, so we're not out of the woods quite yet. Well, literally, we're in the woods. But spring's close. It's kind of, I think, low 40s right now. And the snow's starting to melt. So it's just warm enough now that we're starting to want to ride. In fact, I think my dad got out the other day. It was just a low 50s and he was able to go out for a ride. So with upcoming riding season coming, we're starting to look at what do we want to do to the bikes this year. His 250, when he bought it last year, we haven't touched it yet. This has been primarily stock, and so we've been looking at some of the options for it. Everybody talks about the gearing. Regear it, it'll be a better bike. So today, we're gonna regear it. We've got a 42-tooth rear sprocket, and we've got a 13-tooth front sprocket. So we're gonna put those on today and kind of see what it does to the bike. Now granted, before that, if we don't know what we're coming from and what we're going to, that doesn't do any good. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is mount my phone up here so we can get an accurate GPS speed reading, kind of before and after, and see how that compares to the computer. Now, if you can see over here, it's pretty bright today, so we'll see how that works with the glares. At the very least, worst case scenario, I'll call out the numbers as needed. And then from there, I'm also gonna kind of see what we've got for a low rolling first gear. How low can I roll this before the bike wants to chug? And we'll compare acceleration before and after. Right now the bike has 735 miles on it. We kind of felt that we didn't need to change the chain at this time. In fact, this gearing combo is supposed to work with the stock chain. So we're gonna go ahead and try it. If we were too much higher in the miles, we might have considered a new chain. But since we're experimenting and don't know if this will be the final gear ratio, we didn't really want to overdo it just yet. And so that makes this mod a little bit cheaper as well. Okay, so thanks for checking this out with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and let's go get some baseline numbers for this bike. Okay, so to kind of start off, it looks like we've got right about 5-6 miles an hour. That's about your off idle speed here. Let's check that again. Yeah, we're getting about 5 miles an hour. Okay. Okay, and it looks like right about now, if we're trusting the phone, the stock speedometer is reading 2 miles an hour too high. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2 miles an hour. This corner is always notorious for not being able to see in cars, so good to get on it. That's about 4 miles an hour off. If the phone is to be believed, we're running about 4 miles an hour off at 60, and taking the RPMs at 60, we're almost 1 for 1. So if the speedometer's saying 60, we're pulling 6,000 RPM. So we'll go a little further here and see how we do. I do know when we did the MPG comparison between this bike and my 450L, the odometer was off a little bit. At 50, we're getting a 3 mile per hour difference. Back on the dirt. You know, overall though, I still love this bike. It's just so much fun, so easy to ride, runs perfect. The only complaint about this bike for what it is the power. But I mean, when you're not going 60, you still got power to go. suspension absorbs these winter potholes really well. Let's hit a couple. Woo! We are back. All right, that was a good test run. I've pretty much got this bike figured out, especially since I don't ride it that often, so I'm going to be pretty comfortable in stating if there's a difference when we get her swapped. Well, it's not a drastic difference, but I can tell I'm rolling slower. Let's see. That's pretty slow. I think this would make it a lot more manageable for a little bit tighter trails. Okay, I'm really curious to see what this speedometer is going to say when we get on the road. Yep, that pulls better. What are they doing? Okay, so initial reaction here, if I'm running 48 on the phone, the bike's showing 58. It is a 10 mile per hour difference, but the bike is pulling better. Okay, 63 miles an hour, 74. I grew up around here. You used to never see cars. Now there's cars everywhere. Woo! There's no getting around it. This is just a fun bike. You're not going to win any races, but what you're going to do is you're going to have a good time and you're going to be able to bring it home and you're not worried about how many miles you put on it. You just went out, had a nice ride, maybe rinse it off and go park it. Now that we got a chance to get this done and each go for a ride, we really like it. It kind of woke the bike up a lot, especially down low. So if you're off-roading the trails and you're wanting to come around some corners and have that little extra pep, I thought it was really good. I thought it just ran fantastic. Stock, I'll have to go back and look at the footage, but we were probably 3 to 4 miles per hour off of what we were getting on the GPS. Now, granted, there's a little bit of a delay of it catching up, but the numbers we were getting with everything done, we were pulling in about a 10 mile per hour difference, which is bigger than I've heard some people do before. So I think it just depends on how accurate the phone GPS is, but based on traffic and how I was riding, I think that was about right. They do make a little adjuster. It's about a $70, $80 tool that you can buy to resync your stock computer. And I don't know if it reprograms it or if it sits as an in-between relay to adjust it, but it is possible to go ahead and adjust your speedometer to match. So again, as far as mods go, I'm going to agree with the online stance that this was definitely worth doing. Dollar for dollar, you could feel the difference and it was worth it. So thumbs up on this mod. It's definitely, as we go through and rank them, what we do over time, this is probably going to be one of the top ones. So, okay, well, thanks for checking out this video with us. If you got a 250L, highly recommend doing this mod. It's definitely worth it. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. And until next time, thanks for watching.